This is another episode of UFO Garage.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Joe, and this is where we talk about UFOs, aliens, and all things weird.
Yeah. What's up, Joe?
What's up, dude?
Had a week kind of off. Some technical difficulties last week. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, dude. You know, just the regular computer rigmarole.
The computer doesn't like me very much right now. I upgraded to this new operating system, and it pretty much just effed everything. So I had to update a bunch of different stuff. But
everything.
It's been working really well so far today. When we made that video, that movie today.
Good. That'll. Yeah, the movie was fun, dude. We got to do a little filming, and you guys keep your eyes out for UFO Garage production,
feature film production by UFO Garage Podcast.
Right. We're gonna put out the trailer.
Yeah,
the trailer comes out today.
Yeah, we dropped that trailer today, dude.
Yep,
highly anticipated.
Dude, it's highly anticipated. I think the people are gonna go nuts over it.
I think so too, man.
We may have to make a part 2.
I'm seeing like a trilogy going.
A trilogy of it?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, I can see it. I mean, we're going to rival things that we talked about on the other podcasts, like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars.
I see this being like a really long, 10-year... it's probably gonna take us another 10 years to make the second film.
Yeah.
It's gonna last us a really long time.
Yeah, definitely.
To shoot these... There's so much that goes into it. The CGI, the sound effects...
I mean, just the amount of editing that has to take place. We're actually doing stuff that we don't have the technology for yet.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to wait on some of it to take place.
Right.
But once we acquire this technology, I mean, it's balls to the walls.
Yeah. It's all about making movies. Telling people these stories that we're so invested in.
That's right. You know, I think maybe the media and the film aspect of what we do is going to be a big part of this.
Right. Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh god, dude. Yeah.
Check our Instagram out, or I'm pretty sure we're gonna be posting on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll post it on Facebook too. We're gonna post it. We gotta share it with the world.
Yeah, man.
I mean, this is a huge event.
Huge. We should do an opening party.
Huge.
Speaking of Facebook group happenings. What's up this week? Well, actually 2 weeks now. Well, I guess really just 1 week. But suppose William said he watched the Arrival for the first time.
Yeah, it's a dope movie, dude.
It's such a good movie, and it really does talk about it kind of depicts, for me, something really, really realistic that would actually happen. If you haven't seen the movie, you should by now. There's going to be a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
But these ships are all around the world in these major spots, and all the governments aren't communicating with each other. They're all talking to these different ships or trying to figure out what the technology is, and no one wants to share information, and everybody wants to beat each other to the punch and figure out what these aliens want and what the technology is, just because they want the power.
Yeah.
It feels like that's exactly what the world governments would do.
And it really does pose the question on okay, so they get here, how do you know what they're saying, or would you be able to communicate with them?
Yeah.
What if certain ETs don't communicate telepathically? What if they actually have a language and you have to figure out the language?
Yeah.
Right. And this language in the movie is so different than anything that we can even wrap our minds around. I mean, we talked about how of a cool concept that is
such a cool concept,
their language is just an image. It's a symbol,
and there's no sense of time. It's
right. It's the entire lifetime of this being. It tells the story of their life, and so everything about them.
Yeah,
right?
I love the idea that once you start to understand the language, the main actress, when she starts to understand how that language works, it kind of bleeds into her consciousness, and she starts to experience time differently. Man, that's such a cool concept. I love whoever came up with that is a genius.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. Cool idea. But yeah, I mean that's a bummer. That's kind of what we see now is world governments don't cooperate with each other. They don't share very much information. Yeah. And it's okay, so we could either kind of try and figure this out pretty quickly, right? Or we could just sit on it for a really long time and nobody would know.
Yeah. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
But, I mean, hopefully some government officials have seen Arrival and we'll learn from our mistakes.
Right.
They'll learn from it.
And it's all about weaponizing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's worried about weaponizing things and just, I mean, that's so, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything has to be a weapon. Yeah. Like I'm telling you, like, if the Russians were developing like a new type of like high quality like s'more, the United States would be like, they could weaponize these s'mores and use them against us.
They're delicious. Let me tell you,
they're gonna be way more delicious than ours.
Let me tell you, there's 3 parts to this smallest thing. There's graham cracker, there's chocolate, and the marshmallow.
These are highly advanced marshmallows.
I mentioned this last time, but we didn't actually record it. But I was talking about the last time our world governments kind of worked together on a project. Was when Sputnik from the Soviet Union was released, and it was emitting this frequency, and they allowed the Sputnik to kind of exist in this frequency that was easy to pick up. It was like somewhere between like 3 hertz or something like that.
Yeah.
So anybody with a simple radio, some kind of radio could pick it up, a ham radio or whatever. So these people that weren't even like government officials picked it up and figured out, depending on the time difference between each beep, I can figure out where the satellite is in our orbit. And somebody got a hold of it in the government and said, hey, can you reverse that and figure out where we are from the satellite? And that's how GPS was born.
Ta-da! Ta-da! Eureka moments.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. Man, for my birthday, I got a little ham radio.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty badass. It's like
sick.
one of my favorite gifts I've ever gotten.
Damn.
It's cool because you can just turn it on and just scan channels, dude.
That's cool.
Yeah, and sometimes you pick stuff up and sometimes you don't.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's pretty sweet. And you have to be licensed to like operate a ham radio.
What?
But like to be able to speak to anybody or talk to anybody, you're supposed to be licensed. It's illegal if you do it. But you can listen. You just pick it up and listen.
But you can't speak through it unless
you can't. You're not supposed to.
So that in Stranger Things, when Dustin is talking, he's like totally breaking the law.
Totally breaking the law. But unless there's like a crisis happening, then you can speak through it. So I guess
like
in his case,
post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah. So I guess in his case, there was some sort of crisis.
Yeah.
I guess you could call that a crisis, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
Sweet.
Definitely. He's got a pretty funny show. It's like a prank show.
Oh yeah.
On Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like Scare Tactics. And it's exactly like Scare Tactics.
Yeah.
It's just new.
Nice.
It's pretty funny.
It looks pretty good. Let me check it out. Oh, Dustin. I don't know why I said it in that accent.
Because he doesn't have any teeth.
Oh, now I feel. I didn't mean it like that.
Like he busts out like in the rooms. He's like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" And it's like,
yes.
Yeah, you're the kid with no teeth on Stranger Things. Like, of course we know who you are.
I think it's a certain type of disease where like his front teeth didn't come in.
Right.
Like a lot of people have that.
Uh-huh.
And then like he got these dentures so that he would have front teeth, but now his actual teeth are coming through apparently, which is kind of cool to see. Like
it's mostly prominent in like hillbillies.
Oh really?
No, I don't know.
Oh okay. Yeah, dude. But Stranger Things, Arrival. Next on Facebook is the Voyager 2 reaches interstellar space. Dude.
Voyager 2 reaches interstellar space.
So you know a lot more about this than I do. But.
So they sent out Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Voyager 1 is the one that has the golden record on it, right?
Our nudies.
Our nudie pics are on there. It's got sounds of the world, ocean, the wind, it's got all different kinds of languages. It's got different religious messages. It's got all kinds of stuff, right? And Voyager 2, it took the scenic route. It took what they called the Grand Tour. So it stopped by every planet and kind of took pictures and scanned it and made its way out. And it finally reached interstellar space.
Which is like, is it? You were saying it was like other side of Pluto, like.
It's past Pluto.
Yeah.
And so what it is there's like a bubble that's created, I guess it's like an electromagnetic bubble, or something.
That the sun
some
creates,
sort of force field that's created by the sun, and it goes out quite a ways, like past Pluto, and it holds everything, inside of it. Basically. And so they were saying that whenever the Voyagers like crossed that barrier, how like space got thicker.
Yeah.
That's
really crazy to think about.
So I don't know if it's, all the other radiation from all the other, galaxies plus solar systems plus, all this other stuff, which makes me wonder is like, this is the solar system we're talking about here. So this is just the sun.
Yeah.
Right. And so if they break that barrier and they go past the solar system and past this little barrier that the sun creates and space gets thicker.
Yeah.
Well, is there a barrier that maybe the galaxy is creating?
Ooh.
So when you go outside the galaxy into that space where there's just nothing, right? Like absolutely nothing.
I wonder if it's like even thicker.
I wonder if it's even thicker.
Damn, it makes me think of like different salinities within, like the Black Sea is really salty, so it's a lot more dense and things float on it.
Yep.
I wonder if it's kind of like that.
It might be, dude. Or like if you go outside the galaxy, like if you just fall.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there was nothing to, maybe the space there acts different than the space inside the galaxy.
Yeah, physics
which acts
change and
different
shit.
than the space inside of our solar system.
Right.
Right? So, because it is a little bit different. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if that's, what they call, like dark matter or dark energy or whatever, the dark matter. Maybe it's going through that stuff. Maybe, it's the stuff that holds everything together, possibly. And, all the other types of radiation and background stuff happening from all these other stars and solar systems and exploding supernovas, and it's all out there.
Yeah.
And it's all bombarding, your solar system. But your star has the energy to, kind of deflect that stuff, I guess. Kind of like how the Earth has like a magnetic field.
Yeah.
And so all the radiation and stuff that comes from the sun, it just kind of bounces off this magnetic field so we don't get bombarded with it.
Whoa.
So I'm assuming it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a vacuum, or in a bubble. It's maybe the air is just a little thinner, or like in a vacuum like a science project or something. When you suck all the air out of it, there's no more molecules, or there's a lot less air molecules. So you can move around a lot easier in a vacuum. And it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
That sounded really fucking dumb.
Then even brings me to like an even bigger question of like, okay, so then they talk about the multiverse theory, and they say it's kind of like a bunch of little bubbles out there.
Yeah.
And each bubble has its own universe. So what if you're able to break that bubble barrier and go out into that space in between universes, crossing into the next universe?
Maybe everything is just bubbles.
I don't know, baby.
Everything's just bubbles, man.
Bubbles.
Bubbles. My bubbles.
Yeah, dude. That's cool. Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see, like, I hope the satellite gets picked up by a big ship.
Something.
Big alien ship.
Yeah, something.
Dude. That'd be sick.
But, like I said, like, I think they should just keep going, man. They just need to let that thing ride out. Just keep going out. But it's in its own little orbit outside of the solar system, outside of this field.
Yeah. I wonder how hard it would, because it's not on a straight trajectory. I wonder how much energy it would take to not go in an orbit like a circular, just to go in a straight line.
Yeah. Just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen those diagrams of the solar system, how it's not really like a disc like we usually think about. It's kind of like
a corkscrew.
Corkscrew, yeah. We're like, the Earth isn't on a complete, perfect, perpendicular disc. It's kind of following the sun, and every planet is kind of following the sun, right?
Yep.
That's kind of cool to think about. Like we're constantly moving, makes me think of like different inertias. Like you don't feel speed unless you're unless you feel what you feel is the inertia, like
right.
Acceleration. So once you're going at a specific speed and you get used to that, like we are right now, we don't feel any impact. And so I'm just thinking about like the different levels. Like, okay, well, the Earth is spinning, but we don't feel that. Oh, the Earth is spinning around the sun, but we don't feel that. Oh, the sun is spinning around the galaxy. Oh, we don't feel that.
Yeah.
The galaxy is spinning around another thing. We don't feel that.
Yep.
It just like keeps going levels and levels.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Or like, what would happen? Like if the Earth, like, what if it just like came to a complete stop one day? Like, would we all feel it? Like, would we all like fall out of our chairs? Like, you hit the brakes really hard?
I'm pretty sure everything would just keep go, like we would not be on the Earth anymore.
Dude, I don't know. Like, it'd be crazy. Kind of like slamming the brakes in your car, how everything moves forward. Like, if the Earth just came to a complete stop.
That would be, like, I think boom. That would be really bad.
You know?
Especially for people on the other side of the Earth. They would just go through the Earth.
That would suck. Yeah, dude. Oh, that would suck.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude. Yeah. No bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno. Or if it sped up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if it started hauling more ass.
Right.
Like, would we feel it? Would it get windier?
It depends on the amount of acceleration, I guess.
I don't know.
Somebody out there knows the math.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody out there knows the answer to that question, let us know.
Yeah, hit us up with an email.
Yeah,
UFOGaragePC@gmail.com.
Yeah. Sweet. Don't start it out with like, hey, you dumbasses.
Hey, you dum-dums.
This is the math on it.
Yeah.
What else we got here?
So Jordan posted this ISS spots UFO megaship.
The mothership.
NASA cuts live feed, which apparently NASA cuts the live feed all the time. When
Notorious.
There's weird shit.
Notorious.
That's I wonder. That's like right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
They're censoring stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, so there is quite a few people who watch it, but for the most part, like we're not watching it, right?
No one's watching it 24/7.
Yeah, like I mean, there's
there's always going to be a lag, right?
There's more people out there who will never watch NASA live feed. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's way more people watching like Teen Mom than there is like people watching the NASA feed, right? Yeah. And the people that are watching the NASA feed, if they were to ever be like, "Whoa, did you see NASA cut the feed?" People would be like, "Get out of here, weirdo!"
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
How does that affect my life?
Yeah, exactly. They just wouldn't understand.
Yeah,
they wouldn't understand. But hey, I think everybody listening, man, download the live NASA feed, watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's got some cool stuff on there. It's got really cool stuff on there. I mean, you don't have to watch it all the time, but check it out.
I've only watched it a couple of times, I have to say.
Check it out. It's awesome.
I need to check it out more.
It's awesome. You get to watch the Earth from space.
It'd be cool if you set like a TV in your house that constantly only watches the live feed.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of sweet.
That is pretty dope.
Just buy like a little cheapo TV.
Like, if you have the ISS app, like, you can watch the sunrise from the ISS.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like completely pitch black dark, and then you see the sun coming over the Earth. Sweet. And then the same thing for whenever it's going, to the dark side, you watch the sun set behind the Earth.
That's pretty cool.
It looks awesome. First time I saw that, dude, I watched it for like an hour and a half.
That's sick.
Just to watch it rise and fall a few times.
Sweet. Yeah, because they're going pretty fast around.
Yeah, they're hauling ass,
It's
dude.
not like the 24-hour like here.
I think it's like 90 minutes or something.
Or not 24-hour, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, dude. I watched the ISS from the McDonald's observatory, and that thing was booking it, dude. You could see the little red dot too. Bing. Actually, no, it was more of like a white light. It wasn't red. It was like a white light.
Yeah, it went up. It's hauling ass
so fast, dude. It's
definitely
crazy.
Hauling ass. Like, what do they say? Like, orbiting is just like falling so fast that you never hit the ground, basically, because you're falling, but you have to go fast enough to where you're constantly falling.
Oh,
that's all it is.
That's kind of cool.
Because if you're going around a sphere, you have to go fast enough to where you're always falling, but you're falling on the other side of the Earth around this sphere constantly. Whoa. So that's all it is. It's just falling really fast.
Cool.
Yeah. And then when you slow down, that's when you're falling to Earth. So you have to make sure you're going fast enough that you continuously fall.
Shit. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anyway, this ISS video shows a huge mothership. And I mean, dude, that thing looks ginormous.
It's pretty huge.
With those blinking lights underneath,
yeah, because you can see it, like, the size of it compared with the curvature of the Earth.
Yeah.
It's,
That's like big as a continent, right?
yeah. Yeah, it's like the size of Australia.
Yeah, that's freaking amazing. I'd love to hear what that is. I'd love to figure that out.
Yeah.
Let's see, keep going up. That video that I posted about that space junk again from the ISS.
Yeah.
I mean, I found it on Reddit and then I clicked on the YouTube video, watched it. At first, I was like, "Oh, that's a space taco. It looks like a taco.
It looks like a spinning taco."
Yeah.
Yes, dude.
But it looks like it looks like some kind of fabric. It's constantly changing shape, but there's geometric patterns in it. It's really weird, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know what to think of that, and it's huge.
Yeah, it looks massive.
It's gotta be big, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to a couple people that had posted on it, and I mean, like, you can't tell, like, the distance of it, and you can't tell, like the speed or anything of it, but it looks comparable to the space station.
Yeah.
Right? And
how big did you say it was?
It's a little over a football field's length. So if it's space junk, that's some big ass space junk for one, and for two, since it is the largest orbiting satellite in the orbiting Earth. Like, I don't know of anything else that's that big that would create some space junk. Nor do I know of anybody who would just let a piece of space junk that large,
Right. That close to the ISS.
Yeah, just continuously going around. Because if that's the case, that they were all shitting themselves when they saw it.
Right.
Because they were like, what is this? It better not hit us because we're all dead.
Yeah.
Because it looks very close to size of the space station, if not a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and again, like to the fact that it's moving and changing shape, like something has to be acting upon it. I mean, it's not reacting to wind.
Yeah.
So something has to be making it move.
It's like it's spinning.
Yeah, it's
Like
spinning,
it's rotating.
and then it like wrinkles, and then it kind of in a geometric shape. There's only one scene where it kind of goes into three different rhombuses. Looks like on the side. It's the weirdest thing, and there's like windows on it. It looks like. I don't know what that thing is, dude, but
yeah, it looks strange.
Spooky.
Somebody had said, is it could it be the Tic Tac that we saw? But eyewitness accounts say that the Tic Tac was about 40 feet. It was about the size of the plane. So that thing looks way too big to be the Tic Tac.
Yeah.
Maybe the mothership. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like a docking station.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, we don't know. We just have no idea.
Super weird. Okay, moving up. Oh, kind of talking again about like different things on the Earth and how gravity works and affects the Earth and ley lines and things. This Bermuda Triangle post that Joseph posted, it basically talks about how every year magnetic north moves about 35 meters.
Right.
Which I didn't know.
Yeah.
Unless you were like a sailor or some kind of a scientist that tracks this kind of stuff and relies on magnetic north for things. I didn't know that the magnetic north has been moving for. I mean, I guess
it always moves, right? Because there's times on Earth's history where it's called a pole shift, where the pole shifts. And so those areas aren't always north and south, right? They were on the equator at some point. That's why they say that there's a lot of like ancient structures or things like that, like maybe under Antarctica, because it wasn't always frozen Antarctica. It used to be somewhere warmer, right? And here lately, as of lately, apparently the poles have been shifting a lot faster.
Yeah, it makes me think, okay, so like the North and the South Pole has a specific weight to it based on how much ice has been locked up there, locked in one place. And now that a lot of weight is kind of redistributing throughout the oceans, I wonder if that has any effect on the speed at which the magnetic poles are shifting a little bit.
It's possible. It's possible. We've talked about it like when we go through the whole climate change thing, right? Like nobody ever talks about the poles shifting, but this is obvious. They're not saying it in like a conspiratorial way.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, yeah, the poles are always shifting.
Yeah.
they're shifting faster now
than they ever have.
I'd like to hear more people talk about pole shift and why that has something to do with the melting of the ice caps. As opposed to people using plastic straws, right? That's something
Save the turtles, man.
I would love to hear about that,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
I agree, right? You don't always need a straw to drink something. As I have a Route 44 cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper with a big ass straw.
Big ass straw.
But you don't always need a straw.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You can lay off the straws. I agree with that. That's fine. Whatever.
I mean, what the
find
point?
people for that
What's
shit.
the point of a straw anyway, dude?
So you're gonna
Like, just drink. Use the cup. Put your mouth on the damn cup.
so you can make fun noises.
Oh. It sounds like, Thanksgiving's coming up, kids.
Oh yeah,
Do you
dude.
remember? It sounds like a turkey. Oh, there you go, dude. Let's go hunting.
I'm down.
Okay, so that was the pole shift stuff. Alejandra posted this Santa sleigh or UFO.
Ooh, well, it's not Christmas, so it must be a UFO.
Yeah.
I watched the video.
Barely see those lights in the sky.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this looks like when Ben and Joe were stargazing.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Like it was just a pitch black. You could kind of make out the little lights. I don't know what to think of it, but it's a cool video.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That guy in the background, he's like, oh,
Yeah.
aliens. I seen this shit on YouTube.
Oh, right. Yeah. I see this shit on YouTube. It's aliens.
Oh, it's so funny, man.
Yeah, bro. Well, that's it for the UFO Garage podcast group podcast. Yeah, UFO Garage podcast group page on Facebook.
That concludes our Facebook segment of UFO Garage Podcast. Next, we will be moving on to the meat and potatoes of the show. This has been another NPR message.
Skinny Bob, dude. What do you know about him?
A skinny Bobby.
A skinny Bobby.
Skinny Bobby.
Bobby.
Dude, so Skinny Bob. This is a cool video. It's always kind of like caught my attention, you know. Pretty interesting little video. You know, it's circulated its way through the UFO community, you know.
Yeah.
It's something that came out in 2011, I believe. It was originally posted by Ivan0135, I believe, on YouTube. And the backstory of this is that it's Russian film. It was shot by the KGB, and that they, after the fall of the Soviet Union, a lot of material got stolen, and so a lot of stuff was, you know, sold on the black market to the highest bidder. So we don't know how this guy acquired the footage or where it came from. All we know is that it's pretty interesting. Right.
You showed me the intro where I think a lot of people don't really realize, but that little emblem at the very beginning of the video, and you did some research to find what the KGB little shield was. And it looks exactly. I mean, it's kind of blurry in the video, but it's the same.
Yeah, if you look at the footage that's on the Facebook group, you'll see the first part of it. So the first video was dropped April 13th, 2011. And that's where you're going to see the KGB shield basically at the very beginning of the video. And it looks like some stuff above it and below it has been, you know, blacked out, or maybe that's just like how they shot the film. But in that first little video, you see a craft that looks to be like hovering over like a steamboat or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that the one that looks kind of like an almond?
Yeah, kind of just floating up above it. And I mean, it looks, you know, pretty wild.
This is all black and white.
It's all in black and white. And then if you continue going on with the video, then you see it's from an aircraft. Somebody's flying a plane, and you see a disc outside the window. It's really shaky, but you know, you can see the disc outside the window. So I guess 1942, I believe, through 1961. There was contact between the ETs and the world governments. even President Eisenhower during his terms. They had met with the ETs. Apparently, they were trying to sign treaties and make deals and things like that. And then when we go back to the Admiral Byrd story and we talk about that in 1947,
interesting timeline.
Yeah, exactly. All this stuff is happening in the same timeline, and how he supposedly met with the ETs. The ETs told him that, hey, we've been trying to contact your world governments and tell them, this stuff and kind of how things are going, and they all ignore us, or it's all being used for war, and that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Right. So, I'm assuming that, maybe some stuff was traded, maybe some technology was traded. Like, yes, you can abduct a certain amount of people in trade for some of this technology. And then, somebody lied.
Yeah. Somebody fucked something up.
Yeah. Somebody messed something up.
Because they had to come back.
Yep. So, that's kind of... That's kind of my thoughts on it. But this film is pretty strange. If you go on and you continue on in the video, it also shows a crash. Now, I've heard a lot of people talk about how this is the Roswell crash, but I'm not sure if it's Roswell because of the KGB insignia.
Right.
That's at the beginning of the film. But if you look up Roswell crash, you'll see this footage too.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the crash footage I spoke about a couple of episodes ago, where it shows these KGB people out in this field in Russia coming upon this crash site, and it's like this long skid mark and then this big disc in the forest. There's like trees knocked down, and there's like this line of soldiers, and then a truck comes by, and you could see the other videographers in the photo, or in the footage. And this is on one of those documentaries I watched on UFO TV.
Yeah.
But it looks very similar to that same one.
Yeah. It's a pretty interesting. I mean, you can see like bodies laying on the ground. You can see the craft. It's shoved in the ground. And man, it's pretty nuts. It looks pretty nuts. Then we skip to the second video, which was dropped May 1st of 2011, and this is where it gets a little strange, because this is the video of Skinny Bob. And so what's weird about this is that, I mean, people say that if it's CGI, it's the best CGI they've ever seen, right? I mean, we're talking like film people, special effects people, everybody has looked at this. Even like Hollywood has offered, like $1 million to whoever created this to come forward and recreate it.
Yeah.
And they get $1 million. Nobody's came forward.
Right. Claiming that they did the work.
Nobody claimed it.
$1 million is a lot of money, man. You would think somebody would come forward and say, hey, yeah, I worked on that. Or I made it.
Yeah. I mean, there's even special effects artists who said, could this be faked? Possibly. But it would take a huge team, and a lot of work to be able to do something like this.
And who knows, like, unless you knew you were going to make money off of it, why would you hire and spend all this money and effort and time putting together a team to make this when there's no way of making money out of it unless it was for like a movie? But,
exactly. And that's what he said. He was like, in the special effects industry, like when we make something, we make sure everybody knows about it, because that's how we get work.
Yeah.
So anytime you do something, you kind of like, showboat your stuff.
Yeah. And also it's weird that nobody's even tried to claim that it was theirs, even though it wasn't.
Right.
No one's ever come forward like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah. Nobody's even tried to claim it.
They were lying or
for
whatever.
$1 million.
Yeah.
They said, I'll give you $1 million. Just tell me who made this.
Yeah.
Whoever it was, just come forward. I'll give you $1 million.
It's pretty strange.
And a job.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, this footage is pretty nuts. But, he said, even then, with all the, the team and the time that you were to put into this, he's like, you could make it probably pretty close. But still, I mean, this thing is...
Yeah, you could see like the muscular structure in the back of his head.
Exactly.
And,
all the shadows.
The eyebrows. Yeah, the shadows, like the irregular, asymmetrical features on his face. the way that he moves, like his elbows and his posture and his neck and his shoulders is really natural looking.
Like his hands and things.
Right.
Yeah. So
like a lot of times in CGI, when you're doing something that's like a humanoid, even, I mean, you go back to like even Avatar, there's some movements that's like, it's a little too slow, or you go back and watch The Matrix, like CGI was like the best at the time. And then some of those flips and stuff, you could tell like there's this uncanny valley where you're like, that doesn't look quite real, but this thing is like, oh
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. I mean, they put the dots on you, and that's how they like track the movement and stuff. He's like, dude, you'd have to put like tiny dots all over the eyeball and the eyelid,
right,
just to make that look the way that it looks on the video.
Yeah,
Woo! He says, so now the footage, it does look like there's a filter that was put over the footage, but if you have footage, then you alter it in some way so it's not original footage. Oh. That's how they, he was able to kind of put this out as it not being original footage.
Oh, okay.
He altered the footage by putting like a filter over it.
Interesting.
Of some sort. And so maybe that kept him out of a lot of trouble, because he's like, hey, I didn't post the original video.
Right.
I altered it.
Yeah.
So it's not actual KGB footage.
Interesting.
It's altered KGB footage.
Trying to get around that intellectual property law.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the number. It says 25002738. I wonder what that signifies. Do you think it's like,
I don't know,
the date or the timestamp? It's got to be a timestamp of some sort.
Like the time.
27 minutes 38 seconds.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. So the anatomy of Skinny Bob is interesting. His arms go way down past his crotchal area, which is, I don't know, it just looks strange. Like his legs look really, really long.
Like almost a little past his kneecaps, maybe.
Yeah. His fingers look like they're past his kneecaps even. And you can almost kind of make out like fingernails, like black fingernails, darker fingernails or something. And he looks like he's wearing a turtleneck. To me, it looks like he's wearing a turtleneck.
He does, right? But the Zetas are sometimes depicted with that little suit on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? He's got like the little suit.
Yeah, you can see the seam in his shoulder there. Oh man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's little nose.
That blink.
Yeah, that blink is insane looking, dude.
That blink, dude. I mean, that's like right there, like his hands, the way they just kind of like, they're subtle, the movements of like you just standing there.
Right. Yeah, see, this is okay, they're taking his height right there.
Yeah, they're measuring his height.
There's a shadow. I wonder what that is there. Huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, and then the scene where there's like 3 of them or 4 now walking through the frame. There's a bunch of them walking together.
Yeah, that video was put out May 17th, 2011, I believe, is when that part of the video was dropped. It was in May 17th. So there was 3 separate days where he dropped these videos.
Okay.
And he's never been heard from again.
Whoa.
People have messaged him. People have tried to, DM the guy. They've sent him emails, and nobody's ever heard from him again. He's never posted anything on YouTube ever again. Some people say maybe this is a part of soft disclosure, right? Well, if you're going to post something, why not post it on a platform that's full of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And you have to really sift through, and it's kind of like, here's a little piece of truth for you.
Right.
But, anybody that sees it, that...
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah. Piece of candy. Or, but anybody, people who try to debunk it and stuff like that, those, a lot of those people are like, CGI, right? And it's like, but, I mean, okay, so can you make it?
Yeah. Or I don't know.
Can you do that?
Show me something else that's comparable to that.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Even the best CGI that's out right now of like aliens doesn't look anything like this, dude.
Yeah.
It's so far from what this video is that it could be an alien.
It could be.
It could be like a real alien, dude. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. And it sucks that there's like so much fake stuff out there that we're like, man, I just don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of leaning towards like, this, it's a good possibility, man.
Yeah.
I think maybe this could be some actual footage.
Dude, I think it is, dude. I'm convinced. After hearing all that, and you know the research that you did on it, I mean, dude, I think it might be true. I think it might be real. I'm leaning more towards real than not real.
Well, they had a guy analyze it who did work on like Rogue One, Avatar. He worked on Alien. Like he did special effects for all these movies, and he was like, dude, that's phenomenal footage.
Yeah,
I don't know who did it, but that's amazing.
Wow,
you know,
that's really cool. Dang, dude. So that could be, it's just right there out in the open.
Yeah, we're watching a real alien, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, we're still like, I'm not too sure. But, I mean, you know, that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody's like. How come there's no video? How come there's no footage? And we're looking at it.
Yeah.
But there's just so much crap out there that we're still wishy-washy, but we're looking at the real thing.
Man.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that's the kind of state of uncertainty that we're in right now. Like with anything, it's the lines are so blurred right now between fact and fiction, especially when it comes to these like deep fake videos. Like there's compilations of people. Like there's this software where you just talk or read from a book for like 90 seconds, and then they got you. Like this company did it for Obama. Where they can really just make you say anything, and it sounds exactly like his cadence and the way he says it.
The deep fake stuff.
Yeah, man, it's like, dude, the lines are being blurred so much now that you can just kind of fake whatever you want.
Yeah,
not everybody can do it, but you can't really believe anything anymore.
There's been a lot of those deep fake videos with like Theo Vaughn and Brendan Schwab and Joe Rogan. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean that's where I even heard about all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm probably parroting exactly what Joe Rogan has said on his podcast. I'm sure.
No, it's hilarious, dude. Those are so funny.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, man. I mean this footage is cool, man. It's always been something that like I've seen and been like, whoa, that's pretty crazy,
right?
You know, but and the way that like. If somebody were to say, hey, this is actual footage, like the way you would view it would be so different. Like, even though I've seen it a million times,
a perspective.
If somebody were to be like, you know, that's real footage, right? My whole like mind would just explode and be like, whoa, that's a real alien.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be completely different.
It's so nuts. Dude, I watched, just thinking about, I don't know, you made me think of this. I came across a video of this soldier in a classroom talking to other fellow soldiers about aliens and stuff. And at first off, it kind of seems like he's teaching a class, but then these kids in the back are all like, oh, were they hot? Did one have boobs? Like, could I fuck it? Like, it kind of ruins the credibility of it.
Yeah.
But it's this soldier talking really eloquently about the same stuff we're talking about, and he's like, oh yeah, I've seen the reptilians. They're like tall and they're like buff, like muscular, and he's talking as if he knows, but also he says a lot of the same stuff we've said just through us learning stuff. So I don't know if he's actually seen the stuff, but he does say it in a way that he's like, well, okay, well, yeah, I've seen them and I've seen these guys. And I don't know, he's not like a corporal or some kind of general.
I've seen that video before.
Have you? Okay.
And I feel like it's kind of the same situation with him where like he's just that guy who's into aliens, and they're like,
and everybody's like, tell us what you know.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, Private Thompson.
Yeah.
You're that guy who likes aliens, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm into it. And like, what do you know about aliens?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. Well, let me get up in front of the class and tell everybody what I think about aliens.
I think you're right.
And then, being who he is, maybe he probably stretched the truth and was like, yeah, I've seen some of this stuff, right? But I think he maybe like is on the same path that a lot of people were on, but maybe he just kind of lied about seeing some of this stuff, you know. But I mean,
if you have an audience and they're super into it, I think that's kind of like anybody that's not used to that much attention and everybody's like into it. Maybe I think certain people would kind of stretch their truth and say, oh yeah, totally.
Especially if in his mind, like if he knows background and history and stuff about these, ETs that he can say, yeah, I've seen them. And this is what it's all about, and then they go into it.
Right.
And it's almost like he's trying to show the credibility of like, well, yeah, I've seen him. This is what I know about him, right?
Yeah.
But, if you haven't seen If you haven't seen an ET, don't say you've seen an ET.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Damn it. Which kind of makes me think about the Mantis stuff.
Yeah.
That you said.
Well, before we get into the Mantis stuff, so I'm looking at Skinny Bob, right? And I believe he's a Zeta, right?
Okay.
You know? So something interesting that I heard, there's an awesome YouTube channel. Her name is Gigi Young, and she's got a lot of detail on a lot of stuff, man. Yeah. I mean, she goes in on a lot of stuff. She said something really interesting. I would love to get her on the podcast.
Yes, dude, that'd be
we
dope.
Should reach out to her and see if she wants to come on. So this is something that I heard from Gigi was she was talking about the Zetas and how the Zeta is actually a form of human.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
They're actually a type of human. So something happened to them to where they got into nuclear trouble.
Okay.
They messed up their planet with nuclear weapons. And so that's why they took so much interest in us once the discovery of the atom bomb, the nuclear bomb came about.
Right.
Right, and that's when that's why things seem to have started getting crazy, and there was all these UFO sightings, and there was all this contact and stuff. It's because the nuclear weapons, they did the same thing to their planet. And so what they did was they had messed up so bad that they went back in their timeline to try and harvest DNA.
Uh-huh.
And so the reason they look the way that they look is because they had to move underground. They lived underground on this messed up planet that they had messed up with nuclear weapons. Their whole lifestyle changed, over thousands of years. They started thinking more with their mind and stuff like that. The food that they ate changed. It was dark under there, so like
it was dark.
There's a lot of stuff that changed that actually changed their physical appearance.
Yeah.
And so that's why they look the way that they do now.
Dude, what if that happened, but it wasn't a different planet, it was Earth 2 million years ago.
Possibly.
And they just didn't know that humans were alive and well on the surface, and now they're just surfacing.
Or that's Earth 2 million years in the future. Because the Zeta story is that they went back in their timeline to try and harvest DNA.
Yeah.
And so now they're here also harvesting DNA from humans. But the thing is that your DNA, every cell in your body, tells a story. And so what they didn't know was that since the gray, the Zetas are more calculated, they don't have that emotional response that like we do. Like she was saying that, mammals have like this incredible like emotional, they're really emotionally driven, right?
Yeah.
And that's why when you see a gray or a reptilian or, like a mantis being, like they don't have that same emotional side to them.
Yeah.
So that's why when you look at them, they seem so cold and empty, just because they don't work that way.
Right.
It's a completely just different part of the spectrum that they live on. But they started coming here and taking DNA from us. And one thing that they found out was that when they started taking this DNA from us humans, that there's a lot of emotional connection that runs through our lineage all the way to like prehistoric times.
Some like epigenetics that's coded into our DNA
so when they started making these hybrids, they found out that the hybrids that they were making were extremely emotional. They had fears. They had, all kinds of traits that us humans have, personality. They had, happiness. They had sadness. They had all the different feelings and emotions that like humans have.
Yeah.
And so that was weird to them. They were like, what the hell? Like, we were trying to like for the species and kind of create this being and kind of start over, but we kind of created something new, because now instead of being like kind of cold and calculated like we are, now we have these emotional hybrids running around. So they run from the spectrum of like very Zeta looking to almost human looking. And so their deal is that these hybrids are going to be a key thing in the future to connecting the species of contact, basically. So the Zeta hybrids will be here to kind of be the middleman to contact humans and the Zetas.
Oh. Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Whoa. So I had a thought while you were talking a little bit. I'm thinking about, like, you were talking about the different frequency that humans live in, and we're very emotional, and the human construct of emotions is very like it's analogous to like propulsion, I guess, with combustion, where there's a lot of energy, then it's spent, and then you have to find more energy, then it's spent. Kind of like depicts like emotions where you're really, really happy, but only because it's in contrast with sadness. Like the human condition is very much relies on the contrast of what you're used to.
Right.
You wouldn't be happy, you like light without dark and all that, and it kind of goes along with our technology, where it's this energy is neither created nor destroyed, but it's used over and over again, and there's 100% full, and then it's empty, we have to find more.
Right.
Whereas like this new technology that we're witnessing, this zero propulsion, there is no used up of the energy. It's just free energy.
It's coming out of the ether.
Kind of exists within these ET that are maybe from a different dimension, that it just doesn't vibrate on the same wavelength that we humans live on right now. We're just not there yet. I'm like connecting a lot of dots in my head.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dots to be connected for sure, because that's a lot of the reason why they're so interested in us is because of our emotions.
Yeah.
That's something that they don't have, and that's something that they're trying to get back.
Yeah.
So apparently they used to have this emotional body, this emotional connection, but once they ruined everything, they stopped. They disconnected from that.
I wonder if you get to that point where you stop progressing, and you need something that's in discontent to progress. Like some living creature that's creative, that wants to be better and do better. And that's why you need to have like an entity like us that wants to improve itself. Where like they, on the other hand, are just kind of just content where they are, and they're like at the pinnacle that they could possibly, like they've reached as far in technology as they can, and emotionally they're just like they experienced all the emotions, and they're kind of done with that. And that's why they want to improve even more. So they're like, well, anybody got any ideas?
Yeah.
They're like, not me.
Yeah, and it sounds like it was almost an accident. You know how they came here, they wanted to preserve the species and further it. Then they started taking our DNA, but little did they know, whenever they made a hybrid child, now that hybrid had the personality and the emotions and the trauma of the person's DNA that they took. Right?
Yeah.
And so these hybrids actually, she says, are very helpful, because they feel that disconnect on both sides, and they want to be helpful. They know that something was taken from us, and they want to give back.
Yeah.
Right?
I wonder, kind of on that same line, is what if there is a specific story in a specific lineage of humans that aliens or whoever, they know they target those people. That's why you hear of like families that have ET experiences, and then their next door neighbor has never seen anything. Where like it's almost like the Holy Grail, right? The royal bloodline.
Right. Yeah,
it's kind of that like frame of thought, where they really do pick these certain people that they know that their DNA includes this specific code that kind of runs back. That they really like.
It's possible, or that person just has a very strong emotional body.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it seems like most people that have these experiences do have a very emotional IQ, I guess.
Right.
I mean, you hear a lot of the times like these people that are not interested in UFOs at all, and then they experience this thing, and now they're very spiritual, and they already were emotionally intelligent, but after this experience, it kind of awoken something in them that was kind of sleeping. You know,
they're never the same again.
yeah.
They're never the same.
Whoa, dude.
Never the same. It's pretty crazy. But
That was deep, dude.
But the reason that I found Gigi in the first place is because I was looking up the Mantis beings.
The Mantids.
I wanted to know more about it because, you know, so we personally know a lady who has an encounter with this.
Yeah.
Right? She was part of the My Labs program. And she says she's seen a lot of this stuff and how there's sort of a hierarchy to it.
And My Lab again stands for military abduction.
Military abduction.
Right? She coined that term,
Right.
which Corey Good stole.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
And he like totally changed
it changed the story and everything.
and where that came from.
Try to make it about him.
It was military abductions.
Yeah.
That's where that word came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, when we still got to talk to her more in depth about all of this
Melinda.
stuff. But you know, when she had first said anything about it, she basically had said that, you know, they were kind of like the doctors or the scientists
The Mantis-
of the whole thing. You
Yeah.
know, they did a lot of the procedure and the medical work.
Right.
And man, the more and more that I started looking into this, they're kind of the same thing. Like they understand that we're a very emotional species. And I found it hilarious because apparently they try to kind of lighten the blow a little bit, like when they come in contact with you.
Right.
And they wear things like blonde wigs and top hats and like big lips, fake lips.
Plastic lips.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, like they
Could
have
you
a,
imagine, dude, you wake up in the middle of the night and you hear something rustling around your kitchen?
Yes.
And you go into your kitchen and there's this fucking mantis being with a wig on. like,
hey! Like telling jokes and stuff.
yeah.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Yes. Which I don't know if that would freak me out more.
Yeah, right? Like, that's a little too much.
Can you imagine
It
telling
reminds
somebody...
me of the Explorers. Remember the Explorers movie?
Yeah. And they talked in like cartoon, like radio frequency or like TV frequency that they were picking up off the earth. Yeah. He would talk like Bugs Bunny and stuff.
Yeah.
And the kid was like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's apparently the mantis has incredible sense of humor.
That's so cool. That's so fun to think about. I watched a YouTube video of this guy who was he had this experience, this mantid experience, and saw a mantis being, and it came to him, and anyway, he was so impacted by it that he started writing like these science fiction novels, and he ended up writing 3 and wanted to make a movie out of these novels. It was more, I think it was more of a movie, not a novel, but he started writing these scripts and these scenarios and this huge world surrounding this mantid creature, and he started to see these little actual mantis bugs would come and just hang out with him. Like, he'd be outside and there'd be little mantis crawling up just to say what's up.
Yeah.
And then he started making this movie, and all of his friends that were helping him out started having their own mantis experiences. These little bugs, like for instance, one of his buddies opened up his front door one day, and there was this little praying mantis on his front doorstep, and he opened his door, and the mantis just walked in. Like, it just hang out. And,
Like, yeah, I'm gonna move in for a bit.
yeah, and then another woman that was helping out, she said a white one came to her and just kind of crawled on her and just kind of hung out with her.
Huh.
And he said it was just, everybody thought it was a really pleasant and funny experience.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any of his friends had like alien humanoid mantis experiences, but they definitely, each person, I think it was like 8 people that were helping out with this movie, after they started helping out with the project, they would see a little mantis bug like come up to them.
Yeah, just more frequent than usual. Right? Yeah.
I mean, how often do you see a mantis? I mean, I just saw a praying mantis in California. It was the coolest thing. I hadn't seen one in years.
Yeah.
They're the coolest little bugs.
Yeah. I mean, these things apparently, you know, other than being like the doctors, you know, mantises are doctor scientists. I don't know if you guys knew that, but they're doctor scientists.
Yes.
But apparently they're really big in like being like a spiritual guide.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like, they're guides. You know.
Yeah. A bunch of the videos that I was looking up were all in reference to my mantis being guide. did this, or
Right.
showed me this, or kind of came to me in like a really bad time and like made light of the situation and like spiritually in my mind's eye and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool stuff.
Like I said, they're so focused. They're like a very focused species.
Yeah.
So they like, you ask them for like something specific, like help, and they kind of like share that energy with you.
Yeah.
For you to be able to focus, maybe not be so indecisive, or you need to make a decision, or these. I don't know, man. Like, I think that would be pretty interesting to come in contact with. There was a lady who had said that she heard what she thought could possibly be a mantis being outside of her door. She started hearing these like clicking noises. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Like a little clicking and she said, "Go away," and they left.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that they're very aware of you and like your energy and the way you feel about it.
Yeah.
Right. So, which is cool. They won't mess with you.
Pretty chill.
But she did say, I need to get over that fear because of what's coming next.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what's coming next, but it's going to happen at some point to where I'm going to have contact with these things.
Whoa.
And, which I think is a big thing. Like, I think we all need to figure out a way to kind of rein in like this fear that we have, right?
Right.
Because like we had heard it's about these timelines. Like, every species has some sort of dark period in their existence, or some dark part in their timeline. And usually what we hear about is the fear-mongering part. We hear about all the negative stuff with like aliens and ETs, and we hear about these dark parts in their timeline.
Yeah.
So when we project out to them, we time is completely different for them. It's not an issue, right? So, but when we project out to them, we usually project out to the negative part of that timeline, as opposed to projecting out to the more positive, higher frequency part of their timeline. And I think that has a lot to do with how you meet them and how your experience is going to be.
Right.
A lot of these people, it seems like more of like the MyLab abduction, like that seems to be really negative.
Yeah.
But dude, I mean, a lot of these like actual like alien abduction things like sound kind of positive. Like, I hear a lot of positive stories.
Right.
And
I hear a lot more positive than negative.
I really do too.
Yeah.
I really do too. And maybe like, unfortunately, some people just catch them in this dark timeline.
Yeah. Or like you said, you're projecting your own experience, your fear on top of their, multi-frequency, multi-dimensional contact. And you're like, right off the bat, this is scary. I don't like this. Get me out. And they're like, no, just hold on. We're trying to talk to you, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're seeing it. I feel like our consciousness is so powerful that we're altering that experience, and we're really putting that on ourselves,
taking it to a negative place.
Like, if it is happening in your dream, like there's some chemical stuff that's going on that some people are kind of just wired to. Anything outside of your control, or anything that you have never experienced, like automatically for some reason is a negative thing. But for some people, it's a positive thing. It's like, oh, let me see where this rabbit hole takes me.
Right.
I think there's definitely like a different type of person, but I feel like it's beginning to shift. I think the way you can change that shift and make it happen to people that are kind of on that negative side is just us talking about it and have it be kind of more out in the open. Like, hey, like you were saying, maybe we start getting used to the fact that there's probably going to be something coming soon where some aliens are going to reach out to us, and there's going to be disclosure. And, like to the Stars Academy is kind of going with this negative view, which we got to be careful about. Like, man, that sucks. I wish it was more positive.
I was listening to Lorian on her show. Guys, check out Lorian Fenton on KCOR Radio.
The Fenton Files.
The Fenton Files. Dude, her show's awesome.
Yeah.
She's got some badass guests on there. And she was saying how, she's really harsh. Like, she's a real big critic when it comes to, like the military aspect, the CIA, stuff like that, this UFO and their connection with the UFO, topic. And she was saying, it's unfortunate because when you look at why it is the way it is, well, they were brought up in the military. That's their only experience. They're not experiencers. They have no idea what's actually going on. They've never been contacted by, an ET being. All they're doing is going and trying to find out all this stuff. But the way they're going about it is so negative and like in a fear-mongering way. Like, it's all about, national security and like everything is a defensive. It's very defensive.
It's again, it goes to that thing I was just talking about. Like, some people experience things in the lens of, okay, self-preservation, flight or fight. I'm going to protect mine. I'm going to, in the name of national security, we're going to defend ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very defensive.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be a much different situation if they kind of came at it with a more just plain curious point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they had a more curious approach, like, I'm sure they're very curious, but if it wasn't such a defensive approach to the whole thing, maybe the stories would be different. She was saying, even Travis Walton's case. Travis Walton's case is like one of the only cases where it seemed to be an accident.
Yeah.
Like we killed this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe we should pick him up and fix him,
and
then put him back where we found him.
Right.
It didn't seem to be like a. The movie and stuff made it out to be like a real negative experience, but maybe it wasn't a negative experience. Like, they actually were helping him.
Yeah.
They accidentally shot that guy with the beam, and they were like, damn, we should fix him.
Right.
And they helped him.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're just looking at it, not knowing what it is, that's a negative experience. I got blasted by a laser beam and then taken up in an alien spaceship, and I was there for 5 days, and then they just dropped me off on the side of the road.
It was covered in goo.
If you say it like that, that's pretty negative. But if it's like, oh, I scared these things, they accidentally hit me with this beam, but they picked me up and they fixed me, and then they put me back, so I could be with my family.
Yeah.
Like, that's a more positive way to look at it.
That's a lot more positive. And that's how Travis looks at it nowadays, right? After meeting him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool, man. Oh, man, there's just so much to it. It's always changing and evolving. Who knows, like a month from now, something might come out like, oh, shit, maybe they are here to totally annihilate us. But right now, I feel like we should maybe change our view, is that maybe this is a positive thing and they are trying to help us.
Right. Because, if they wanted to annihilate us, why didn't they already do it?
Yeah.
Could have already done it.
Yeah. Given the technology that we've witnessed, they could easily just squash us like a bug, and they haven't. So
maybe they don't want to squash us like a bug because they are
bugs.
But yeah, dude.
I guess I did talk about TTSA again. I would love to have Jeremy Corbell on the show. I'd love to have Tom DeLonge. That's shooting for the stars. Ayo. But dude, I would love to have them on and get their perspective on it, because I think a lot of the stuff that's been out there with their TV show that they released, it's very defensive. I'm sure there's more to the story. I'm sure there is. I'm sure they're just curious dudes.
I'm sure there is.
I think they're looking through it as a lens and getting funding from the government. Like we've said before, how do you get funding for a huge project and research? You go through the government. That's where all the cash is.
Lorian was saying, on that episode 6, I think, where they show the footage of the craft shooting that beam at the helicopter.
Yeah.
And the helicopter goes down.
Yeah, isn't it like a French thing happening?
It was the Italians. She was like, why do they have the Italian government on the TV talking about a hoax story? Because it was debunked a long time ago.
Oh, really?
A few years ago.
It was debunked.
It was debunked. Yeah. And then they put that up on TV, and they're like...
For propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. And so then you have, officials who were like part of the United States government talking to these Italian officials who are in the government, and we have the secret footage. And it's like, well, first of all, it's not secret and for 2, it was debunked a while back. So why are you putting that on TV?
Dude, that's some tomfoolery.
That is some tomfoolery.
That's some skylarking going on.
Oh, dude, total skylarking.
What? I did not know that. That's new to me.
Yeah.
Dude. So that little beam that went through the blade of the helicopter, that was all
It
staged.
was all staged.
Dude.
Apparently.
Okay, well, all right, there we go. I got to rethink some shit now.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so we are doing this fear-mongering thing.
Yeah.
Because
What do you think the purpose is?
Because
Just to maintain control?
maybe. Like, look, we've got this under control. Look at this footage we have.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like,
I mean, that's all America's ever known, though.
and most people aren't going to second guess it, right? They're going to be like, oh, well, it came from the government.
Yeah.
It's real. You know, like I said, we were talking about this a couple podcasts ago, how the government came out, they're saying, yes, this stuff happened, the military backs it up, right? And so now it's like, okay, well, since we're the military and the government, we can show these videos and people won't second guess it. They're going to be like, well, why would my government lie to me?
They are writing the history books, man. I mean,
Exactly.
they are in control, and this was something up until now that has been out of their hands, and then Tom DeLonge finally comes around and they're like, hey, you know what? If we do want to get ahead of this and control the way the population thinks about it, we might as well start now and give them a little bit, piece of candy, and then we can control the narrative a little bit. That's what we have to be aware of.
Yeah.
I feel like.
We do. We definitely do. So, you know, I think the best route to go for a lot of this stuff is, if you want to know the truth, you have to talk to experiencers.
Yeah.
You have to talk to people who
Some of them. A lot of them are out there trying to sell books.
Right.
I'm not saying all of them are, but there are some that are just in it for the money.
But there are,
that goes for everything. Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
Right? Follow the money. You know, talk to people who see these things, who see lots of UFOs, you know. Yeah. Talk to people, you know, like Lorian was saying, the best way to be able to see a UFO is to get a couple of experiencers together.
Just follow them around.
Give them a beer, walk outside, and there's going to be something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just let them do their thing.
Right.
Like these highly intuitive people, like, you know, they're having the experiences. Those are the people you want to talk to.
Right.
You know?
Dude,
because nobody in the government has had that experience.
Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah.
None of them have had it. They've all investigated it. They've all tried to go find it. They've all, you know, nobody's had an experience, though.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple people, but they were all shut up.
And even, I mean, some people that are maybe not officials in the government, but like they were on a Navy battleship and they saw some stuff. You know, that makes them an experiencer, right? But they're not the ones calling the shots.
Exactly.
They're not the people making the decisions.
Exactly.
It's always somebody that wasn't there. Oh shit. Okay. Well, what do you have in the game here? You want to control the way people react to it. I mean, this kind of goes back to the Phoenix Light guy, the mayor of Phoenix at the time. He actually saw some shit, and then right, and then wants to. Initially, he wanted to calm everybody down and saying, "Hey, you know, nothing to worry about here." But then he comes out years later saying, "You know what? I did see some pretty crazy lights, and I can't explain it." We called the government. There was no flyovers at that time. There was no military tests or what do you call it? Where they scrambled jets out just for practice or whatever. Exercise. There you go. Same kind of thing like that, where there's even, like, the top official probably didn't see it, but a lot of people on those boats or on these military bases probably saw a lot of stuff.
Nobody knows where it came from.
Rendlesham.
Nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
But you know, you talk to Jocelyn, and she's like, "Yeah, it came out of this portal."
Yeah.
It started in Sedona.
Why don't they start there? Just ask her some questions.
Yeah, came out of this portal right here in Sedona.
Yeah.
And then it went down to Phoenix. Yeah. That's where it came from. Right in my backyard.
Right in my backyard.
Dude, we got to go to Lorian's, Jocelyn's place, and I want her to regress us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I want to see if there's ever been, I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like a loaded thing, though. If we're going into it thinking like, oh, we're going to find out if we've been abducted. I feel like it might alter the way we think about it, but I'd still like to do it.
I'd like to know, like, maybe, like, what was I in my past life?
Yeah, that too.
I would like to maybe know, like, am I an incarnate from, like, another star system? And, like, which star system I'm going to incarnate from, stuff like that.
That'd
like,
be cool.
I don't know if she can do that, she says she can do some of that stuff. So, if she can regress us, maybe she can, pull some of that information. But,
Hell yeah.
it would definitely be cool. It's funny because like when she was like, oh yeah, I'm going to see if Richard Dolan and his wife want to come back to my place. I have a place where I let all these people stay when they come to Phoenix. And I remember we were like, dude, I'm gonna go stay at her house. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, you should go stay at her house. We're like, dude, that's badass. We get to go. So you're saying Richard Dolan slept here?
Where was the pillow? I can have that.
Did you wash it? Please tell me you didn't wash it.
Did you wash it? Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom, dude. You want to talk about sponsors or
I can smell his hair.
T-shirts and shit.
Smell Richard Dolan's hair.
I can smell it.
Hey, dudes. So it's starting to get a little bit chilly, so make sure you go to UFOGaragePodcast.com. We've got Dr. Scientist hoodies. We got the UFO Garage Podcast hoodies that just say UFO Garage Podcast on them, and then we have like a one with the UFO Garage Podcast logo up in the corner. They're pretty sick. We've got some socks up there. Our website, it's evolving. You know what I'm saying? Since we started the website, it's definitely started to kind of take shape, and it's looking pretty good. So if you haven't been there lately, go check out UFO Garage Podcast. And also, don't forget to check out Abduction 51 because those guys got a lot of stuff too. And their clothing line is pretty sick. I'm actually gonna order some more stuff here pretty soon after I get my UFO Garage Podcast hoodie. I'm gonna go back there and get some more T-shirts because I love all their T-shirts. They're hilarious and they look cool and they're comfy. And also, I just put an order in for some razor blade from Phoenix Shaving, so I'm excited to check that out and see how it goes. Because, like I said, man, I use the soaps, I use the beard shampoo, and it's some pretty tasty stuff, and it smells good. I got their aftershave, and it's so well priced, man. So check out Doug over there at Phoenix Shaving, and you can check out all their stuff on our website, UFOGaragePC.com. Get 10% off. We got a code for Abduction 51 as well. Use that code at checkout, and you get 10% off for your purchase, man.
Dude. Squee.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Dude. So another funny thing that I had heard on Lauren's podcast was she was talking to an experiencer, and they were laughing because he said, so you know how ETs can put images in your mind and they can make things happen that don't seem normal?
Yeah.
He said that he would see a burrito.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this earlier.
He said that he would see a burrito
Okay.
in his house, and it would like, the way he described it though was creepy, dude. He was like, I don't know, like, I love burritos. He was like,
Yes.
this burrito would like crawl on the ground.
Ooh.
It was creepy. He was like, yeah, like my homework would like crawl on the ground. Like I had like this stuffed bear, and it would kind of float.
Ugh.
It would float around. But that burrito thing, dude.
Wait, so he saw this in a dream, or
He's not really sure.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he's not really sure.
Dude, that sounds delicious.
He just seems like, like maybe they projected an image into him.
Whoa.
And they say that a lot of times they'll project images into you so you don't freak out as bad.
Right.
But what kind of person do you have to be to where they're like, dude, this guy loves burritos, right? It makes a burrito that just like crawls on the ground.
That's fucking funny.
And scary. And scary. Yeah,
Dang.
it's both hilarious and scary at the same time.
I'll like try to put myself in there, like the other shoe. Like, okay, so we know the guy likes burritos. What can we choose from? Could we choose something from his childhood or something that he likes now? What kind of screen memory could we put in?
Like a girlfriend, maybe his mom.
Yeah,
We'll go with burritos.
yeah. The probably just laugh their asses off.
It's like if me and you were aliens, that's what we would do to somebody.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If we were aliens, we're like, dude, let's make this guy see a burrito.
Dude, okay, so that makes me think of this show called People of Earth. Have you heard about it on TBS?
Yeah.
So they did 2 seasons of it. They were signed on for a 3rd season, and at the last minute, they canceled it.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever watch the show?
I haven't seen it yet,
It
dude.
is so good.
I haven't seen it yet.
Bro.
What do you have it on?
So it's for free. Go to tbs.com.
What?
Yeah, it's free. Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay,
It's so good.
TBS.com.
I binged watched it in like 2 days, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah. So if y'all are listening, want to check it out, it's my new favorite TV show. I'm so glad. I'm so sad that they canceled it, dude, because it was so good, funny. Like,
so did you catch the "Babies Are Us" joke?
no. I still don't get it.
I don't either. Because I haven't seen it yet. But
Maybe I missed the
But
part.
Lorian said, when you see it, just remember, babies are us.
I don't get it.
And the your special thing?
The special thing,
Okay.
I get that part.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch it tonight.
for
then.
sure. Yeah, I don't get the Babies Are Us thing, though.
Okay. I'll see if I catch it.
Dude, okay, so it's... Speaking of screen memories and things like that, they do kind of fuck up, and there's weird stuff that happens. I won't ruin it for you, but it's definitely the same thing we're talking about, where they kind of project things in his waking life that he sees that's not there. It's pretty funny, but dude, all around great show, great writing, and if this came out like right now, we would think, all right, who's listening to our podcast? Because this is all the shit we've been talking about. But this came out years ago.
Yeah.
All this shit. It's like there's this. I won't ruin it by saying there's 3 different species of alien on one ship that's abducting people.
Okay.
And there's a tall white, there's a gray, and a reptilian.
Okay.
And dude, it goes, man. It's such a
That's
good
awesome.
show.
Yep. I'm starting that tonight.
It makes me think like, man, I wonder if the show was just too spot on and that's why it got canceled.
Maybe, dude.
You know?
Maybe.
I mean, it was funny, but all the little details were like pretty spooky close. I mean, even talking about stuff that Lorian was telling us. Yeah, I can't wait till you watch it. We'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Hell
then.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's
man.
dope.
Definitely. Well, yeah, dude. I think we should work on getting a couple more guests here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got to get Melinda on. I'd love to reach out to Gigi, see if she wanted to be on.
Yeah, definitely
would want to be on.
I think that would be cool.
Ryan Sprague is. We're still working on scheduling him in. He can only do Mondays, so we got to figure out a day we can do a Monday on. So we're working on that. Ryan Sprague from Somewhere in the Skies.
Maybe during like the Christmas break or something.
Yeah, maybe.
He'll like have some free time.
Yeah, I'll reach back out to him and see. I think we were at a standstill, like, this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna. So, but he wants to be on the podcast. He said he was a fan. So
dope.
And we're definitely fans of his stuff too. So that's gonna be exciting. But yeah, definitely get some more guests on. I guess in February we got some stuff coming up. We're going to that conference, dude.
UFO
Stoked about
Con
that.
2020.
We got to start getting ready for it, man.
Yeah, dude.
We got to get a banner made or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get a banner made. We need to reach out to her again and kind of get some more details.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
sweet.
well, cool, man. I mean, that's all I had on my agenda for today.
That was a great podcast.
That was
dude.
a great
fun.
podcast. And don't forget to check out our short feature film, the
Highly anticipated.
the highly anticipated trailer. It's out. It's out. We're just
I
gonna
like
say
how
it.
we went on like we're talking like really serious. Like if you skipped and like landed in the middle of that conversation, like, oh, Ben and Joe made a movie. Oh, shit.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's good stuff, man. Yeah. All right, dude.
All right, brother.
All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody, and this has been another episode of UFO Garage.
Peace.